This is Grace Shelley, and this is what I found on the internet. So today's story is going to be a question I get asked all the time. I live here in Southern California. I have pretty much my whole life. So my stomping ground is probably north of Huntington Beach, maybe Seal Beach, all the way down to San Diego, Mexico, north side of Mexico, on the west side of Baja. I haven't gone as far south as like K16 or Cabo. I know everybody loves it. I've been invited a million times, but something always got in the way, like work or something. Am I afraid of sharks? Have I ever seen one? And yes, I've been attacked by a shark. So I was attacked by a shark in 2003. People really like the story. We've recently had a shark down T Street for a couple of weeks now. I pulled up some visuals for you guys. So, I was attacked in '03 down in San Onofre trails. I've seen them breach. I've not been back on the water since. I always had a saying, I've lived here for a long time. So you go check the surf. You want to take your dog for a walk. Usually March and April are when you'll see a lot of closures, sometimes May. My incident was in September. So, but you got to remember too, San Onofre, it is, there's a power plant, so I kept the water warm. There was a whale that was buried off there, late 70s, early 80s. It attracted a lot of sharks. So it's been around for a while. I learned when I was about 8. I learned on my dad's board. I'm not sure my dad knew what to do with a girl, so he raised me very much like my brothers, but also I was a princess and I got whatever I wanted. By the way, this is my my French bulldog Carlos. He's going to be joining us. He works very hard, so he's going to nap through this, but he's my co-pilot. He needs his beauty rest. It takes a lot of work to look that good. So today's the question I always get asked: are you afraid of sharks? Have you ever seen one? And yes, I've been attacked by one. And yeah, well, they're not going to approach you to tickle you. You see stingrays and like sand sharks. They're cute. They run. Shuffle your feet. They'll run, scatter. They're not there to hurt you. Most great whites stay within the break. So the break is where the waves are crashing. So as long as you stay in between that and the shore, generally you're okay. You swim outside the break, and I have an example of that. That's where they are. If you've ever, I don't know if you're coming to visit, a lot of people meet a lot of tourists living on the coast. I travel to the Midwest. My family's out there. What's the questions I ask? Yeah, take a fishing boat and you'll see them. Me personally, recently, because I stay away from the San Onofre and the trails, I have more of an issue with sea lions. It was 4th of July. No, it was before 4th of July. I was testing my boat out in the harbor and I was having issues with the motor. It turned out to be a spark plug. But there was a 7-pounder chasing my boat that wanted to join me on deck. So, and he would have capsized me. And it was still a little cold. So I think it's more sea lions I have a serious issue with. So we've had a couple sightings recently. I heard about it first. No, so keep in mind, I have a partner. We've been together for 4 or 5 years. We were friends, just really good friends for a couple of years, and then we've been together, like officially maybe 2 years. So he's new to the ocean. Never grew up. Saw it from afar. PCH. So he's got a bunch. He's heard me talk about it for years. You know, if anybody's surfed or been in the ocean, there's something about it. It's like there's nothing like it in the world. Some people say it's close to like an Epsom salt bath, but it's not just an Epsom salt bath because I've taken that for injuries. It's I don't know. It's the sun and the vitamin D, and I think it's the exercise. You get the endorphins. It's the challenge of it. Exfoliates your skin. And yeah, it's just discharging negative energy. Absolutely. About a crazy amount of spiritual experiences on the ocean. I saw that scripture where God hovers above the ocean. And I know I read a prayer about like Mary being like the star of the sea, and fishermen had this prayer for her. Crazy spiritual stuff, hands down. I mean, I think that's probably why I was attracted to surfers for so long, because they had that. It was almost like that little Jesus vibe, or spiritual, but most of them did construction, and it was like the blue collar. I had a thing where because I had 3 older brothers that teased me a lot that I was a girl and I needed to be in the kitchen baking cookies, and that was like infuriating me. Um, but I had to have a guy that was more manly than me. You know, I couldn't be better at him than everything. Like, if a guy couldn't drive stick shift, I didn't respect him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta know how to do basic stuff and understand how a motor works. So I found somebody, and my aunties were right. My aunties always said, Gracie, you're not gonna find a guy here in LA. Either marry a nice Jewish boy, and we're Catholic. Like, I'm like, don't they not believe in Jesus? Or go Midwest. And, you know, I went Midwest and I found just ripped from Yellowstone, just a big cowboy, beefy, corn-fed, just salt of the earth. So this, and he's athletic and he doesn't mind the ocean. That's a rarity for people who've never grown, because most people you talk to them in the Midwest, they're like, aren't you afraid of sharks? Not, yeah. I've been somewhere with that for years. So look, my incident was 2003. You figure before then, I didn't ever see them. I didn't pay attention. You see sand sharks in like little stingrays, but they're cute. Shuffle your feet, scatter. I thought jellyfish were the worst because there's usually a swarm of them and they'll mess you up. Like, that'll stick with you for a while. Like, they put like a bunch of little needles in your skin. Some people say potty on it. Some people say don't. Stingrays. I mean, it's just like a little. But when you step on rocks, you're gonna get your feet cut. So it's a brutal sport. So I heard about it on the 24th. My partner was flying in. He was like, "You just got a new surfboard and a new wetsuit." And he's literally has not tried it yet. He's like, "We're going." And this was at T Street, so I wanted to take him to T Street. It's pretty mellow. It usually doesn't get too often above 5 to 6 foot. There's no rocks. You're gonna get tossed around a little bit, and especially him being a big boy. Doheny, it's too there's too many rocks. I don't know. I get bruised whenever I go there because you're gonna fall. You jump off your board, you get tossed off. I mean, they've had some pretty big surf this year, I have to say. Usually when it's hot, the surf is really flat. This was a really good year for surfing. But anyway, Doheny, I didn't think was I don't think it was gonna be powerful enough for him. Plus, it's like the rocks, man. I mean, I have to wear booties at least to get out of there. So anyway, let me take him to T Street and Oceanside. So this day was T Street, so we were convinced to go. It was the weekend of Halloween. So we went out. I hope everybody had a great Halloween. We had a fantastic Halloween. There was a couple firsts for us. We haven't been to a concert together. We haven't dressed up for Halloween, gone to a costume party, and we haven't danced together. And we got to do all of those on Halloween. We went to Coach House. Coach House, they used to have some really good headlines, and this was an Oingo Boingo cover band, and I love 80s music. You can't you just have to say 80s music and I'm there. But this was supposed to be Oingo Boingo, Dead Man's Party. They sang the 80s music perfectly. Like, you would think it was Oingo Boingo. The reggae band performed was fantastic. I would actually pay money to go see them. But the music wasn't for me. The music was, you could tell that they liked a lot of different genres. It would be punk, and then it was like a ska, and then it would be like 80s or soft. It was so you'd be dancing to a song, and then it would just change direction. So it was hard to dance to, but we had fun. You put a couple drinks in people, you're gonna have a good time. But yeah, I don't think I'd see them again. They were kind of expensive. Those tickets ranged from like $40 to $90 sometimes. So, but we went with some people. We made it Turks. Had a blast. People are dressed up. I'm so grateful to see people dressed up for Halloween. We actually even got trick-or-treaters this year. We haven't had trick-or-treaters in since 2019. Don't get me wrong, we live in a different place, and I had a townhouse, and there wasn't too many kids there. But this year, oh my gosh, we went through almost a big Costco bag of candy. I got haichu. I've been to Japan a couple times, so we got haichu just in case no one came. And I was like, okay, the haichu doesn't mess my blood sugar up too bad. So, but anyway, back to the shark story. So yeah, so if you're looking at visiting California, if you're new to California, if you're from the Wild West and just curious, are there sharks in Southern California? Heck yes. And no, after going down the rabbit hole, there's no time of year. I always said March, April, after doing a little digging. Now it's at all times of year. Be safe, stay in the break, stay in a group, don't be the guy off to the side, and listen to your gut. I had a gut feeling, and I have some angel stories I can share with you guys. I'll probably say that for another video. I've had some pretty astounding stuff, and I think my shark story is definitely one of them. So here is, I wanted to share this one. Um, here is, so here's the one from, so here's some visuals I pulled for you guys. So this was what was on the news like a couple weeks ago, so just before Halloween. This was taken on, it was published at least on the 30th. And yeah, 8 foot. So it's probably juvenile. Someone told me when I told, talked to somebody about my shark encounter in '03, anything between 5 and 8 foot is usually juvenile. And those are the ones you have to worry about. So those are the ones that are inquisitive. Okay. Like the bigger ones, the older ones they don't want to deal with you. You sink, you make bubbles. They don't like bubbles. So they're the ones that are new to the world. I want to see what you are. The older ones are just worried about eating, making more baby sharks, and surviving. So yeah, so 8 foot. So that was on the 30th. This one, God bless this guy. He deserves a medal or a cuddle. I would not. He's what, 10 feet from a great white. Yeah, I would have started making my way back to shore because they swim like 30 miles an hour, so that you're not going to outswim them, and it just takes a second for them to turn to want to see what you are and if you're dinner. So I don't know who this kid is, but yeah, I was on the 24th. We were gonna go no matter what. We had the best day. We went the day after Halloween, and yeah, Saturday was my day. I caught everything. Sunday was his day. He caught everything. We had the best time. So yeah, this one. Oh, so this is San Onofre. I want to show you guys this one. This is how magical like the surf is. Okay, like this is why you still go, even though there's sharks. Like look at that wave. Waikiki Beach is probably the closest thing to it. I mean, look at that. It's great for longboarding, and then it's got some power behind them. It's 2 to 4 foot most of the time. They've got some crazy rocks that will cut you. So, not a fan of that. Okay, so this is 2017. 2017 was like the bad year for sharks. I just remember always going down to the beach from anywhere from spring until summer. It just seemed like there's something going on with animals. Animals were just acting funny everywhere. It wasn't even just the ocean, but just every time you went to the beach, it was closed. So, and then this gal got bit. So yeah, so San Onofre is right by Pendleton, big party beach, a lot of fun. You might have to wait in line if it fills up, one in, one out. But it's just a big beach party. I recommend it. I know some people say they ride their bikes there. I would prefer to ride an e-bike. I don't want to deal with traffic. E-bikes were the greatest invention ever made. But I don't know how you do that. I've always had to drive. What's this the gal? So more in San Onofre. Oh yeah, she was a single mom. Poor thing. I hope she'll do something good with it. I hope you guys feel the same way that when something like this happens, you need, like Bethany, she did something good with it. Awareness. I love her story. So yeah. So this is Corona Del Mar. This is 2016. I'm just trying to show you, like, this is not, like, there's not one set time of year or one set beach. Like, I really thought it was San Onofre and trails, because at trails you'll see them breach, you'll see them jump out of the water, you'll see them kind of flop up on shore. San Onofre, I had my experience, but don't get me wrong, before that happened, I had never seen one. So, and I mean, I'd been going there for years before that. So Corona Del Mar, don't go past the break. She's swimming past the break. There was another guy recently that was trying to swim from Catalina to Long Beach. Okay, why didn't he have a cage? Like, I think it was at night too. Stay inside the break. So she was training for a triathlon, and so what I heard from, and I get my stories from the beach people that live around these areas. Go for a walk. People are very chatty, very friendly. She was swimming past the break, maybe about a mile out, and the shark came up, bit her. And what they do is they'll bite you, and then they'll swim around and let you bleed out, and then come back and finish you off. And that's where like the lifeguard came and swooped her up, and she survived. So praise God. It's all years. 2017 was a weird year. I was even chased out of Dana Point Harbor on a paddleboard. Tough day, service flat. I took my paddleboard out. I was going to go paddle around Dana Point Harbor and then like mouth of the jetty and then Doheny State Beach. And helicopters started flying over saying, "You've got 7 great whites around you. Please get out of the water." So 2017 was crazier. But yeah, T Street's been around. So I got another story. So my family's from the Midwest. My partner's from there. I'm so stoked. Like he actually likes the water. It's hard. It's a hard sell when someone hasn't grown up here. To get in the water because this is the first question anybody asks me. Aren't you afraid of sharks? Well, of course I am. This is Kelly Slater. I thought this was very cool. I've had friends tell me stories about this at Strands or Soul Creek. So yeah, get a little hello. So anyway, I had the video. So first time. So we had a first time at Halloween. This is the first time just getting in the water. So we were gonna go surf, but just swim, just see how he does in the water, right? So this was Memorial Day weekend, last year, so 2024. Just saw his mom. Went back. It's sweetest little mother. She's the tiniest little woman. She's just Midwest nice, right? Like tater tot hot dish, tiny little thing. She's afraid of flying. Like she doesn't leave. She has a good story as to why, but my partner's an only child, so she's like, Gracie, you're not gonna, you're not afraid of sharks, are you? This is my only son. Can you make sure he comes back and home and all this stuff? I'm like, Mom, I wouldn't take him anywhere that I wouldn't take, a kid. I've been serving here for years. I haven't had a run-in. He's gonna be fine. I'll be there. There'll be lifeguards. He'll be totally safe. And sure enough, so we flies in, and it's Saturday, and so we're coming down the hill, and I'm like, oh, there's nobody. Oh, there's surf. Oh, there's nobody out in the water. First thought, too cold. Usually, if you see there's surf and it's nobody out, it's too cold. But then I was like, oh, okay, there's a couple people out. Well, maybe it's just we missed the crowd because I've done that too, where I've gotten there before the crowd hits. I guess Memorial Day weekend there might have been barbecues or an event going on in town or something. And sure enough, we parked the car. There's parking. Parked the car, and then there's a sign: beach closures due to a shark attack. The guy didn't get bit, but it took a bite out of his board. So he's got a good story. I'm sure he got some dates out of that one. So so we're actually on the news. I tried to pull the clip, but it's like buried in pictures. We're actually on the shore. So I was trying to wave to Mom on the news, going, I'm so sorry. I sent so many apology texts after that. So yeah. So 2003, I was where is it? This one. So 2003, this is where I stopped going to Santa Fe, and Santa Fe. I don't think I've been in the water since then, even though I should probably get over it. It's just such a wonderful, it was my favorite beach before this. So, so 3 boys, they used to tease me, you're a girl, you should be in the kitchen baking cookies with Mom. Dad, I wasn't sure, knew how to raise a girl. So I was a princess, but yet it was like, get up and walk it off, put some dirt on it. There's no crying. So I'm not sure he really knew how to deal with a girl. And I didn't like my mom very much. She was just a really mean person. It was night and day, and I lived and breathed for Dad. So anyway, long story short, they would tease me. You're a girl, you can't do it. So I always felt like I had to be better, stronger, smarter. I didn't want anybody to tell me I couldn't do something, So we're at the beach, and I'm proof that guys and girls can be friends. I think if you can't be friends with a girl, that's on you. I mean, you don't have sexual attraction towards your mom, your sister, your cousin, somebody you grew up with. And I know there's a joke saying, well, if you can be friends with a guy, that means you're an uggo. Look, go work in a bar. You will see that it's everybody's got their flavor. Like, nobody is everybody's flavor. I mean, I'm 5'10", 5'11", probably more. If you met me, you would think volleyball. I'm not, I'm too tall, I'm too fat, I didn't have boobs, I didn't have a butt, blah, 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 too thin. I do think that more guys go after, like, the shorter, healthier girls. So, not too rail thin, but, like, healthy, I think, would be. So, guys and girls can absolutely be friends. The guys, yeah, no. That's good. I would not even for a second. So I'm at the beach. School had just started. So, and I remember I kind of went a little hard. I knew that school had started. I'm going to have to study. It's going to start getting cold. The time's going to change, So I went a little hard. I surfed, and I laid out, and I ate food, and I met people, and I surfed again, and ate people. And it was like the golden hour. It was Sunday night, golden hour, and the sun was coming down. And San Clemente Sunsets There's nothing like them in the world. And then when it's golden hour, it's like it almost looks like there's diamonds all over the ocean. It's magical. So someone says one last session. So it's gonna get dark soon. And I'm like, nah, I had like this weird, I had a bad feeling. Like I just did, sitting on the beach. Um, Guardian angel, shout out. I got some good angels. But it was like, I can't show my stomach because the camera's too low, but it was like that panicky feeling. Have you ever had that? Like panic, danger. And there's no reason for it. There's no danger around. I couldn't smell what was in the water. Um, I've been way more drunk and way later at night and gone surfing and did not have this. So they started calling me PUSSY. Girl, you're scared. And now knowing where I come from. So I said, fine. And I go. And so they're all going out and I'm lagging. I'm behind them. They're probably to the lineup and like the break. And I'm probably midsection. And it's getting worse. So I'm like, you know what? I am too drunk for this. I'm sunbaked. The sun will just zap you. It's like the heat waves during this time. So I turn my board back around. And I'm facing the shore, and I'm laying on my board. I've got my arms stretched out to the nose. My feet are dangling off the back. This is probably like the shorter of my boards. It's like 8 foot. I'm not heartbroken over this board. I wanted a new one anyway. So feet are hanging off, and I feel something like really big and slimy just on the bottoms of my feet just go by me. Now, if you've ever snorkeled in Catalina, Lagoon Beach, so like we get some big fish like bass, like calico sea bass, and they have teeth, and there's so many different kinds of fish, barracudas, garibaldis, but it just felt like a big fish. I thought it was a sea bass because I've seen those all the time, and there's a ton of fishing. There's always somebody fishing at San Onofre. So it goes past my feet, and I was like, I just thought it was a fish. And then I'm waiting. Of course, when you're waiting for a wave, there's never a wave just to take you back into shore. It's quiet and flat. So waiting, and then it was moderately choppy, by the way. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was pretty flat right then. Next thing I know, I get launched 4 feet in the air. Like, it was something that, like, I've had rogue waves toss me around, and I was thin. I was, like, maybe 100 pounds back then. So, I mean, I've had wakes, like, kind of airborne me, just waiting for a wave. It's been pretty choppy. I've been out when it's pretty choppy, it's kind of toss you around, airborne a little bit, and you kind of go slamming back on your board. Another reason why I wear a wetsuit, because like your hip bones get bruised and your rib cage and stuff like that. So, I was looking around. I was like, I didn't see the wave, because I didn't even see them go diagonal. Like all the water's going one way to shore, and you'll just see like a rogue wake kind of just go across or whatever. Looking around, I didn't see anything. I was like, oh, that's really strange. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait anymore. So I started paddling back in, and then eventually like little water kind of pushed me in, packed up my stuff. Everybody came in, totally rousted me. Said, I made the best set ever. You missed out and you scared, whatever. So I went to school the next day, and I got home eating dinner. Just the news was on. It was like KTLA 5 or Fox 11 or whatever it was at the time. I tried pulling it. This was the closest thing I could find. And the news reporter was interviewing surfers that baby great whites were bumping surfers. I'm like, it was like light bulb moment. I was like, that's what that was, because it made no sense. Like there was no wave, there was no wake, there was no nothing that I could see. And then sure enough, I went out to my garage, and I had it was about 4 inches in diameter. I had a really big dent right where I felt hit me. So because it felt like it hit me like right like my sternum, like right around my chest. And I've heard stories too where like it's your electricity and your heart rate and anxiety, because that's like right in the area too. And my heart was beaten. I don't know what it was. So praise Jesus, I have all my fingers and toes. I've seen these stories where like this gal lost some limbs. Bethany Hamilton lost an arm, and they come up from underneath you. So be careful out there, guys. So anyway, so that's my shark story. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Just be careful. Stay inside the break. Stay in a group. Don't be a superhero. If you ladies listen to your intuition, there's that horse theory that horses are prey animals, and I've worked with horses growing up, that you've got to put 2 horses together or they go crazy. So like 2 horses are together, one needs to be put down, another one's like maybe a mile away in a barn. They know it at the second it happens. They can sense when like their partner's put down, so they start acting funny and like looking up towards like the direction. So I really believe as women, I do not have the strength as the dude. My partner can lift 300 pounds in the back of a pickup truck. I can't fucking do that. No matter how much weight I lift or how big and how much, no, I'm not going to lift 300. Just deadlift, just barrel and like lift it. He lifted my refrigerator when I moved into the back of a flatbed. Like I just don't have the upper body strength. I'm sorry. I will not ever. Maybe I can maybe compete with a small man, but not a big corn-fed cowboy from the Midwest. There's no flipping way. So I think women are given the gift of intuition and to listen to it. So if something doesn't seem right, listen to it. Because all the times I've ever gotten in trouble in life was when I didn't listen to my gut and my intuition. So I know, and I think there's science behind it too. So I saw something around that time where most CEOs will listen to their gut, and what they've said, like you have more nerve endings in your stomach, and that your brain has to go through all these files, and it just tells your gut. So there's science behind it too. I don't think, but shout out to my guardian angel. Praise Jesus. I have all my fingers and toes. And yeah, now it looks like I can't just not go to San Onofre. I mean, gosh, they're at T Street. I know I've seen the shark cams at Capitol Beach, which is where all the $1 million houses are. You see them swim by there. Maybe not so much because I think that it's like the beach will go straight and then it coves in. I think, and there's so many people out. Like there's 15 people out, even when it's like lake flat. So I think they just kind of cruise right by and they just don't even waste their freaking time. So anyway, that's my shark story. Stay safe, guys. God bless, and I will see you on the next video. By the way, the one thing that's free in life is you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment, share with a friend. So I would really appreciate it. Have some more stories for you, some more things I found on the internet, but this is Grace Shelley, and this is what I found on the internet.